What's up, guys? Kellyn Acosta here. I'm hosting today for Andrew Swanson. I'm the more handsome host, so that's why I'm here. We're here at Stone by Stone. Usually we're here talking about sports. Today, we have a different type of guest. We have Dan here. Say your last name one more time.
Polyak.
Polyak.
Yes.
Polyak. Well, welcome in, Dan.
Thank you.
Let's dive right in. Let's talk about all things. Let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about, what's new with you. What's going on.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a graphic artist, Chicago native. I've been working in the design and entertainment industry for about 15 years, actually 15 plus. Just really working with all different types of brands, entertainers, musicians, a lot of reality TV stars. So it was a really fun and different opportunity working with Edgewater Castle on the 2026 kit design. What's new with me? Not much. I'm fighting these demons this winter, the seasonal depression. She's hitting this year.
Seriously, I think I read something about it's been the most snow that we've had in the past some years, right? And I'm a Texas boy, so for me, snow is foreign to me. So just experiencing this snow, storm, winter, as you will. I mean, it's been tough. So
how long have you been in Chicago for?
So this is my second year.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you really haven't gotten much snow yet.
No. So I've inched my way in a little bit, and we got a little bit of taste, the past year. But I mean, obviously now
this year really threw you into
it. It's been tough. It's been tough. But yeah. Let's talk about the different projects you've worked on previously. Yeah. I mean, I've seen you were with RuPaul. You did some reality TV shows. You mentioned Edgewater. Let's highlight some of the bigger things that you've done, or something that's super memorable.
So my career kind of started, obviously in Chicago. Being a self-taught graphic artist, I was a child of the internet, computer era.
Okay.
Kind of taught myself Photoshop and all those fun things. So I was working with pop punk bands. That was kind of how I got my intro into design. I worked with bands like Fall Out Boy, Taking Back Sunday, Panic at the Disco, and that was all before I had even started college. So definitely an overachiever. From there, I ended up working at the Metro Smart Bar. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not.
It's an independently owned concert venue and dance club in Chicago.
Okay.
I think they're going on 40 plus years now.
That's amazing. No, now I'm educated. Now I gotta go check them out.
Yeah, on Clark Street.
Yeah, there you go.
I have a bias, but they're a great club. It's one of the best places to see a show.
Okay.
So I started interning there, worked my way up as the art director actually while I was in college, kind of. Then at that moment segued into being the full-time art director because my current boss at the time was leaving to pursue music, as a lot of people who work at a concert venue do.
Rightfully so. Okay.
Luckily for them, I'm not musically inclined, so I was there for about
no instruments, nothing.
No, I'm very tone deaf.
Oh, man.
Very tone deaf. But actually, I think that's a big part of why I got into design. Was I really connected with these worlds, but didn't have the musical talent, and so it was how can I work with these artists and bands and whatnot that I like. Was at Metro for about a decade, and then segued into being a freelancer, working with a lot of the top names in RuPaul's Drag Race, and from there it kind of segued back into music, where I was able to work with Britney Spears around the launch.
Hit me, baby, one more time. Yeah,
hello. I actually did a 25th anniversary collection for that album.
That's right. I did see that.
Yeah.
That's amazing stuff.
That was really fun. It was kind of fun to tie sports culture into it, because obviously that era was her in a school and around all these football players and cheerleaders.
Right,
So
I remember she had the football pads and all that. Yeah.
We went really varsity with that.
There you go.
And then I worked with her around the release of her book as well. We did some memorable quotes, t-shirts, and merch that I kind of directed both of those by myself, which was a really fun, amazing opportunity.
Right.
I've worked with David Guetta and BB Rexa. I did the cover art for that song "I'm Good." Was able to get my
what a hit.
Was able to get my first double platinum record, so that's hanging up in my office.
Oh man,
more to come, hopefully.
Oh yep, let's put it out there.
And so now I've just kind of been working through a lot of entertainers. I've worked with a couple Real Housewives, a couple people from Project Runway, and then just musicians of all spectrums, because I really do a lot of different genres of music. So I am someone who really tries to reach out to people I like and work with them in that capacity.
Right. And let's bring it back a little bit. So you talked about you're a creative director. So for the people that are watching, like what does that mean?
Okay, so
If you're not like in the art world, like for me, I mean, I'm into fashion, and so I kind of understand what it means. But I think for those that maybe aren't so well versed or familiar, like what kind of stuff do you do?
So with creative direction, you're really setting like an overarching aesthetic,
that's right.
and kind of like direction for whatever a release will be. And so you're kind of finding like references and inspiration. You're really helping flesh out like a lot of the ideas and refining them. I've graphic designed all of this stuff as well as creative directing it. So really just heavily involved in the entire development of a visual aesthetic for whether it be like an album release, a clothing drop, a logo or branding, website, all that fun stuff. You're kind of the one who's calling the shots, other than
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. Obviously you have people that the powers that be that have their opinions and things that you have to include or not include. So that's really, the creative director is kind of taking all these guidelines, direction, deliverables, and turning them into a well-designed and developed collection that has a point of view.
That's real. But how do you find balance in, because you're going from musicians to artists to different aesthetics into you get into maybe athletics. Like how do you find balance in figuring out what works, what's authentic, what's relatable, what's with the time? Like how do you do that? Like it's like an art in itself.
Are you familiar with that meme that's graphic design is my passion? It's like a little frog.
Yeah.
That is really me. Like I'm such a design nerd where like it is truly like very fulfilling for me. So I spend a lot of time on the internet, on social media, on Pinterest, really just looking up different design aesthetics and directions. I would say I'm a jack of all aesthetics, master of none. I don't try to
like that. That's clever.
Thank you. I try to not do things just for the sake of trends. I really like them to make sense. I like iconic, timeless pieces that like, I say this to clients all the time. It's like, I'd love you to come back to me, but I actually don't want you to come back to me because it's like...
You want like one-off things, or you prefer... Like, what do you mean?
When it comes to at least branding, anything else come back to me. But
you're shooing people away. Are you sure you want to do that?
With branding, it is like I want to create such a timeless brand that like if I'm doing your logo, it really is something that it will stand the test of time. It won't just be like a trendy logo that in a year or two won't necessarily be relevant or will have been done by other designers a bunch. What was the question?
No, I mean, I think the question was very just broad. I was just out there just curious to think just like how your mind works, because as an artist, it's just amazing, and just seeing all the stuff that you've done, and I'm just kind of just dive a little bit deeper and just kind of figure it out, because as far as for me, as I'm an athlete, but I'm also my own brand, and so I'm trying to draw some inspo for you. Like if you have any pointers for me of what you think, how I should shape my brand.
So, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 30.
Okay. Oh my God, those are the days. I'm still 32. Okay. No, I'm 36. But I grew up, and I'm sure similar to you, like in the era of like the internet and computers, like that really big technological boom, as well as like being a child of like Nickelodeon and MTV and WWF, where all these things really had like actually really defined aesthetics that were like every show or wrestler or commercial had like a really defined aesthetic or point of view. There was really big, loud typography. So I think that as a graphic designer, that really stood out to me in the sense that like, okay, I could design these worlds for people that are actually really particular and make sense. And I think back to the original question is, how do I jump around all these different genres? Is I really am big into research. I like to make things personalized. I like to look at the history of things. And I just really try to avoid trends for the sake of being trendy.
No, I mean, it definitely makes sense. I mean, a lot of us fall victim to that, right? As
Yeah.
far as just, you want to look a certain way, act a certain way, and be a certain way, and you kind of just flow with the river rather than go against it. So
Yeah.
as you say, I mean, I think that's just, there's so much power in that, which is cool.
Thank you.
It is about building timeless things. I mean, for myself, I mean, I want to be different, right?
Yeah.
But also, you don't want to be in too much of an outlier, right? You want to be at least like somewhat, like, you want, people are here, you want to be like kind of on the outside, right?
It's a fun balance.
Right.
Yes.
So, when you're working on these projects, is there any project that you say like, I absolutely killed it? This is like my pinnacle. This is where I'm flow state. This is where, I was just moving and grooving, and everything that I wanted to do worked out, and it just...
Yeah. I would say, honestly, the projects with Brittany were really big for me. Obviously, yeah.
I mean, you just named it. Like, do you call her B?
I wish. Yeah, no, my girl B. We were on Zoom together. Yeah. No, we actually weren't. But working with her, I think, again, being a child of like the 90s, 2000s boy band, girl group kind of moment, it was such a big, or even female pop star moment, was just such a big, important moment for me that I honestly was kind of like flabbergasted I even had the opportunity to do it. And it was really cool because I actually got to work with her brand, her managers, her label, before, like, honestly, even probably like a year before anything was even released. I was helping them kind of develop what her new creative direction would be, because
so more like a consultant in a way, and you're trying to basically navigate her into...
Yeah. I really wanted her to be like a cooler streetwear kind of brand. I was like, I want Britney pieces that people want to wear because they're well designed and they're really cool. And I don't want things necessarily with her face on them or things like that. And obviously you have to include some stuff like that for, the general public. But I think, especially because a lot of her fans have aged up, it's like, we want cool things that aren't necessarily like Britney Spears tour shirt. It's like, let's do a Letterman jacket that says like "Hit Me Baby One More Time" on it, or things like that. So it was really an intentionality on like the garments we were doing and the design of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's awesome. I mean, think about just Britney, just so much nostalgia there. Just growing up watching her, and then you mentioned Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, and I was just like, it just like took me back. I think I was like middle school maybe, or elementary school. I'm just like, man, what a time.
Yeah, we really did live in like a good era of like music and pop culture. Like, I think that there was a lot of cool things going on. I mean, even like the blow up of like R&B and rap too. Like, there was truly so many different genres that I would say between like the late 90s and then to the 2010s that really did hit in a way that, I mean, maybe I'm aging myself, but they don't hit like they used to.
No, but you're right. It is. I mean, I think, we're in that era where it's like everything's kind of a bit all over the place, and you don't know where to navigate to. And I think that's why we kind of fall back and feel these nostalgic things, because just like that just feels so warm and homey, if you will.
Totally.
But yeah, let's also talk about, we mentioned, we've been kind of, jumping back and forth, but let's take it back to like your influences. I mean, growing up, I mean, were you always into art, always into music, always into, fashion?
So I was the youngest of three.
Okay.
Older brother and older sister. So I feel like, being the youngest one, you're like, I want to be like my siblings when I grow up. So I really took a lot of like their references and things that they enjoyed. Like, my sister was really into like Nirvana and Garbage and kind of like more 90s alt music. And so that really made an impression on me. My brother was really into WWF and kind of that world. So I think the like juxtaposition of both of those on top of like all the pop culture that was coming in, the boom of the internet, like all of those things really impacted who I am as a designer. And I would say I wasn't necessarily always artistically inclined. I was kind of a little bit more of like a shy, quiet kid who kind of kept to myself. And I would say, kind of touching back on what I did before and like, just wanting to be involved in these worlds where I didn't necessarily have the talent, but wanted to still like work with musicians and things like that. It really inspired me to kind of be a little bit more of a self-starter. And so I went to Columbia College here in Chicago, and one of the big kind of like design eras that we spent a lot of time in was Bauhaus, which is really like clean, simple, impactful design. There's pops of color, really clever typography. It's really Swiss and minimalist, but there's still like a lot of intention between like positive and negative space, things like that. So I've always tried to leave a little bit of like a aha moment in my work where people will see something and be like, oh, this person knows what they're doing. There's kind of like an Easter egg hidden in here.
Do you have like a signature that is an Easter egg that's like, if someone were to look at it, like, okay, this is Dan's work?
Yeah, good design.
Just good design. Fair enough. Yes. So every time I see good design, I'm like,
yes. I mean, I'm definitely one of those people that like walks around the city. I'm like, oh God, look at that sign. I won't say the name of the business in Andersonville, but there is a new business that popped up in Andersonville, and the sign kills me. It's just
maybe you should call them up. I mean, just put some love.
Maybe I should.
You should.
I won't mention them by name just in case they're watching, but it is.
Do you have that eye when you're watching TV commercials, whether it's billboards, whether it's storefronts, like you?
Yes,
really.
I feel like it's to the point where even like my social circle will like send me like bad design on Instagram and be like, what do you think about this? And because they know that I'm gonna be like, well, this is off. There's even like another local business that's nearby where I live, and they have these like blown up photos, but then you get to the photo and you can actually see how big the pixels are because it's so pixelated.
Oh no.
And so it's
even I can tell.
Yeah, and so
exactly
I'm like, get the high res photo. But no. I think that I just have really developed a taste and vernacular for design that really helps me differentiate good design and bad design. I really just try to create impactful visuals that try to stand the test of time, but also do have like personalization or aha moments or are iconic and timeless. But yeah, no, I try to really just be like a jack of all trades when it comes to design.
It's amazing. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's great. I think, what would you say your transitions being like from your first ever project until now? Like you say, you made enormous strides. You're forever evolving. Yeah. Do you feel like you're in a good spot? Like where do you think you stand?
I think when you say you're in a good spot, you're probably not. So
of course, you never want to be content, but I'm just saying, if you're looking back, reflecting.
Looking back, the design work, I was like, let me open up Paint on like my Windows computer and design something that's like 1,000 pixels, thinking that was like high resolution.
Probably don't even know what Paint is.
Oh no, they sure don't. They don't know the struggle of like all those polygons. You kids have it easy these days. But I would say that when I first started, I mean, I really was like at home, like designing random graphics for like WWF wrestlers that I liked, just even for myself. It wasn't even for them, obviously. And so it was like, baby, that design was not good. And I probably used Comic Sans a bunch, and really, I think, yes, I've made enormous strides in just like being a designer and developing an aesthetic, which I think takes time. Like I'm sure same thing with soccer. Like you're never the best when you first start. It really takes like dedication to your craft and understanding it better to really get a better grasp on it. So yeah, I would say even some of those early college projects were rough too. But I think sitting through critique for hours and having people critique your work, in design classes really did also help me to develop a thick skin. I'm not someone who has like an ego per se. Like I can take notes, I can take feedback, and I don't ever really take it personally because at the end of the day, it's your visual. So right. I'm trying to help you get to where you want to be. So right. I think that there's a little bit of just like ego management there as well too.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you touch up on a lot of things. I think this generation, I mean, a lot of people can't take feedback or can't be critiqued. And, so for you, to be able to be critiqued and obviously absorb information like a sponge. I mean, it's helped you transition into the person you are today.
Definitely.
Right. And so, and this, even in beyond, do you have like a dream person, artist, company that you would love to work with?
Oh man, that's such a loaded question. I would say,
I mean, everyone has like a dream.
Yeah.
Like I always had a dream soccer player I would love to play with. So I was just curious.
I would say in like my dream of all dreams, I would love to work with like Rick Owens. Like I have a really like alternative style, and so I feel like naturally if I'm working with an artist or musician that is a little more alternative leaning, I always know it's going to be a great result because it's like I'm also somewhat a little bit darker and edgier. Obviously working with Britney, you're bright and poppy.
Right. That's all I'm just curious because it's like your vibe is more Rick, which people don't know Rick Owens. It's like it's the blacks and it's like the darkers and it's like it's
distressed and ripped. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Britney is like bright and pink and baby blue and mini skirts and long and huge wedges and all that. So I'm just curious how you're able to differentiate between your own personal style and to be able to apply that to maybe even to people that that would like it, to then being able to adjust to like a Britney.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. It definitely takes a lot of research. Like I really have design books at home that I really spend a lot of time with. Pinterest is truly like one of my favorite sources because you really can create these specific mood boards. And so I think that's I'm a big organizer, and so it's like, let me organize each of these into kind of separate boxes so that I'm not muddying my own personal design choices with what the client is asking for.
I get that. It makes sense. I mean, for me, it's like just how do you just balance between both of those? But I get that. That's super interesting. And as far as like, let's talk about, we talked about, a little bit about your journey, how you moved up. Let's talk a little bit more about fashion.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I see you're Charles Jeffrey lover boy.
Yes. Yeah, I love Charles Jeffrey.
Oh, some great pieces. I've seen the hat, I've seen the shirts, and let's talk about, we talked about Rick a little bit. Is there any other brands you're into? Yeah. Silhouettes? Is it proportions? Is it distressed? Is it?
It's crazy because I obviously tend to lean to things that are a little more alternative. Like I do really love Rick Owens and Charles Jeffrey Loverboy, which Charles Jeffrey is like kind of a spin on the English menswear, but with it's very tongue in cheek. Like there's moments where you're like, what the hell's going on? But it's still
I feel about Rick sometimes. Rick is really. I'm like, I don't know.
Some of those things, I'm like those balloon boots. I'm like, I don't know about those, but good for him.
Right.
I tend to like things that are just really visually interesting. Like I think Jeremy Scott at Moschino was really great.
Jeremy Scott. I remember Jeremy Scott when he was doing the Adidas and had the big wings and the high tops. Yeah. I'm like, for me, it's like definitely out there, but you find some appreciation to art, and I feel like art is all around us, and to be able for people to see different silhouettes and then apply it, and you're just like, man, that's just so cool and unique.
Totally, and putting their point of view on it. And
right.
I feel like honestly I was very fashion inept for a while. My partner is actually really big into fashion. They went to school for costume design.
Amazing.
And so they've kind of helped me even understand the importance of like a lot of fashion, like John Galliano when he was working at Dior, or brands like Mugler, watching those early fashion shows where like there was such defined even like music, lighting, the way the models had their makeup, like it was truly different worlds. And then you kind of find out that like the makeup artist for Dior was the same makeup artist for Mugler, but Pat McGrath put her own spin on these things. So I think just like watching a lot of fashion shows kind of also helps you understand what you like and what you don't.
Are you big into, do you watch Paris? You watch Copenhagen, Milan? Like what's...
I don't know. I'm like on social media. I'm like, oh, I like that. I would say I actually watch more of like, when I do watch fashion shows, they're kind of like the older 90s, early 2000s ones.
And why is that? Is it because of the aesthetic of it? Is it because of the silhouettes? Is it because of the artistic touch? I mean, it's probably all of it.
I was going to say all of the above. I think that people were a little riskier in the 90s and early 2000s. Even with like Jeremy Scott and the Barbie Moschino collection where it's like a whole lot, like they're coming out in like little Barbie rollerblades and coming out to Aqua's Barbie girl. Like they really developed these worlds, and now I feel like sometimes people are a little too scared
too safe, right?
Yeah, a little too safe. I would say a current brand that I also really love, I don't know if you're familiar, Christopher John Rogers. He does a lot of, it's very, it leans more toward women's wear, but it's very, everyone can wear it. And he kind of takes old silhouettes and puts a modern spin on them, whether it be like color blocking or different fabrics or even just the way that things are designed. He calls back to these older eras of fashion, but modernizes them in a very tasteful way. And so I actually feel like I could see you wearing some of his stuff. The pattern is really cool. Okay. The silhouettes are cool. Just really great stuff. And so I think I tend to lean more toward fashion that has a point of view regardless of what it is. I think a point of view is very important.
Yeah, I mean, I think fashion is subjective, right? It's how you view it and how you want to apply it. And I thought that was just very interesting. I mean, for me, fashion is, I just love it. I love the different points of views. I love the different silhouettes, the different color palettes. I love just the artistic direction from fashion. Like you mentioned, fashion shows are a bit boring, right? Yeah. And because if we're looking back to the 90s, I mean, people were going crazy.
They were going ham.
They were going crazy. It's just so, they were just so unique. And I feel like right now everything's just so safe and boring and plain. And it's kind of, everyone's already done it, right?
Even like the Met Gala, like I'm like, where are the looks? Where are the looks?
It's so safe, right? Yeah. I mean, I love Tom Brown because usually Tom Brown's really, I mean, he's like really out there and different silhouettes, and it's kind of playful. And I like a good tailored moment. And so for me, like Tom Brown usually kills it when it comes to events. And like for me, Met Gala, I mean, it was kind of just
the Met Gala.
Yeah, I mean, it's every year. I feel like it's getting like that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, I think.
Who are some of your favorite brands?
For me, I like quiet luxury. Okay. So I've always been, and for me, like one of my favorite brands is Bottega.
Oh yes, great stuff.
Great stuff. I mean, just from the intricate leather to the the detail. I mean, I just like when brands have like a certain aspect to their brand that you just know what it is. Yeah. Right? Like Rick, you know what Rick is.
Totally.
Like Bottega, if you see the leather pattern, like that's Bottega. And so that's why I've always just appreciated Bottega, just from the craftsmanship. I mean, the different creative directors. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I miss what's his name? Matthew Blasey. He went to Chanel. Okay, now he's a new Chanel guy. Yeah. So him leaving was a sad day for Bottega, but he's off to doing great things. But do you have like a dream like collab between brands? Like if you, not necessarily to put your own artistic touch, but it's like, would you love like Adidas and Rick Owens to mix? Would it be?
I actually would love something. I would say some sort of Charles Jeffrey Loverboy collab, because I do think that he has those kind of like aha moments or very tongue-in-cheek. And so I could even see him working with Moschino to do something really fun and interesting. I mean, Rick Owens and Mugler would be fun if we're really talking about like mashing up brands. Because I feel like Mugler is more futuristic. Rick Owens is more... what is the word I'm looking for? I'll just say alternative because I can't think of the word right now. And so I think
that's fitting.
Yeah. I think that alt futurism could be really fun. But yeah, I would say those would probably be my two dream collabs or mashups.
Nah, I'm trying to picture like Mugler and Rick Owens would really go. I mean,
right?
I would take over the world essentially.
It would go really hard. It'd be
but do you think But would brands mess up their own brands doing a collab? Because Rick doesn't really do, I mean, he does some collabs, but I mean, not really, right?
I would say, I mean, it's all about the intention, obviously. I think like two different fashion brands would maybe get a little confusing, but obviously Rick has done collabs with like Converse and Doc Martens and things like that. So I think that like if there is that kind of like good client that makes sense for someone like Rick Owens to work with. Like, I would love to see more collabs because they're also more affordable.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also a problem. I feel like it's sometimes just priced out a bit. You're like, oh, I love this piece. I'm like, $1,500. I don't know if I love it that much.
$1,500.
Yeah, like why is that like just like the baseline price?
Yeah, no, I definitely treated myself to a pair of Rick boots a couple years ago, and I'm like,
which ones did you get?
They're the like longer ones,
yeah,
long tongue, and the kind of platform.
There we go.
And I said, I can probably never do this again, but never say never.
And you're still wearing them?
Rarely. I you know, they're like one of my favorite pieces.
Moment to wear them.
Yes, it's always kind of like a special moment where I wear them, but right now I just stick with my Rick Docs.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Classic. Yes. This is a classic black.
Yeah, classic black with the like pentagram laces. You know, I get those emails in the morning when I first wake up. It's like, collab just dropped. And I'm like, do I do it? And I'm like, whatever, fuck it, I'll do it. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like, did I really just spend like $450 on a pair of boots? But I'm like, it's okay. I'm someone who's learned that, like, especially when it comes to clothing, buying key pieces and really building out your closet versus doing fast fashion and things like that.
So like, no Zara's, H&M's, and
I used to dabble, but I've learned to not, because it's like the pieces that last longer are kind of the ones that you invest in, that you feel really good about wearing.
Timeless. I mean, that's a word that you've used multiple times. And I think curating a good closet is timeless pieces. Pieces that you have multiple wears out of. Maybe not necessarily your platform boots, you said. Only a few times, but you know, the Doc and Ricks, I mean, you're gonna wear those for a while. I also like, you know,
I'm a big fan of Diesel as well, so it's kind of just like pairing brands. I think people think it's taboo, but like, you know, kind of pairing pieces from certain brands that all work together also help you kind of define your own aesthetic, versus like, oh, I'm wearing an all Rick Owens outfit, which would love to do, but it's also very easy to kind of make all of that make sense together.
For sure. I mean, I always preach, I mean, you don't want to wear something that looks like it came straight off a mannequin.
Exactly.
You want to, you know, be selective and have something from there, and then bring it together, and that's what kind of makes you your style.
Totally.
Your own aesthetic. But no, it's like, this conversation's been great. I think we're gonna take a quick break. We want to plug in some of our sponsors here, and we'll reconnect and talk a lot more things and do some rapid fire questions as well.
Yes, I'm ready.
8 years ago, we were just an idea, a distant dream for togetherness, joy, and triumph. We did not inherit a dynasty. We did not arrive with airdropped riches and fanfare. We began with a foundation of belief and a shared commitment to build something. Something authentic, something necessary. We're building this club the only way we know how. Stone by stone, brick by brick, goal after goal after goal. Now the foundation is set. The structure's sound. We can hear the music of the side streets and the rhythm of Lake Michigan as we give our community more Chicago to root for. Which is why we're proud to announce, for the 2026 season, Edgewater Castle Football Club officially enters the national stage, USL League 2 and USLW League. We built together. Now we climb together. Onward and upward, always.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Stone by Stone. Let's just dive right into it with Dan here. Yeah, let's talk about, you know, why we're here, Edgewater Castle.
Yes.
And let's talk about your connection with Edgewater and ECFC. Yes. Like, you know,
How did it start?
How did it start? Where are we at? What are you doing? What are you up to? Are you big into soccer? Is it something new? Like, what's going on?
Me at the beginning of 2025 had no clue that I would have been designing a kit for a soccer team. I actually referred to them as uniforms until Andrew Swanson was like, they're called kits. And so I was like, okay, cool.
Okay, get the verbiage right there.
Yeah, no,
That's
totally.
A good start.
You got to know what you're working with. And so I actually know Andrew through my partner, Jaron. They went to college together.
What a small world.
I know. It's funny because Chicago is really such a really connected city. Andrew actually came over to do some stuff around our house because, you know, as a queer couple, we're like, we don't know how to patch holes. So he came over and I met him through my partner, Jaron. But I actually have a couple friends who know Andrew. And so he had reached out to me just about working on this project. And I really didn't know much going into it. Like, I really was a whole new world.
But was it like, would you describe it as... Were you nervous? Were you like, what was the emotion like? Thinking like, okay, I get presented this project, but it's something that I've never, like, I don't really know the sport. I don't really know, you know, the brand. Like, what was your thought process?
It was definitely a little intimidating at first, just because I think a sports team was so out of the normal realm of my clients, but also at the end of the day, it's still entertainment. So I knew that I would be able to crush it. And I think after meeting with Andrew a couple times and just kind of, you know, learning more about Edgewater Castle and Lotto and all the fun things that are up and coming, I wanted to do my best, but also not let my lack of knowledge or experience sway how I felt, because it is at the end of the day still just like another design project. And there was a lot of research involved in this process just so I could kind of understand the do's and don'ts, what's cool, what isn't, you know, what soccer players want to wear. So it really it took a little bit of research, but I was never uncomfortable working on it. It was just more the intimidation due to lack of experience.
Makes sense. Well, now that it's all said and done, like, are you excited with the work? Do you wish you would done things differently? How was your relationship with Lotto through the process? And, you know, would you work on more in the future?
Oh, I would definitely work on more. It was a great experience. It challenged me in a way that a lot of the other clients I work with don't challenge me per se. Not that they don't. But
it's something different. You're unfamiliar with it. So it's like you probably had to do a little bit more research than you normally do. You had to ask questions.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to a jersey, for me, I mean, I care how it looks, but it's more important like how it feels, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about functionality to, you also want to make it cool. You want people to buy it and wear it, right?
Definitely.
So how did you complement the two, perspectives on that?
So I think being a Chicago native, I already just wanted to inject Chicago personality into the design, as well as really make sure that these are strong designs. I went back and looked at a lot of the other previous kit designs. I talked with Andrew and the rest of the team about what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would maybe want to see more of in the future. So I was able to kind of take the brand guidelines and then also still put my spin on it. So there are things, I don't know when the kit is going to be released, but there are
hopefully soon.
Yes.
We were hoping to have it here, but I think unfortunately we couldn't make it happen.
Hey, timing. But I put a lot of things like texture in it. I wanted to play around with the brand colors and make cool gradients with them. So there was a lot of intentional, like, how do I step this up from what it was without going too crazy?
Overboard. No, it makes sense because you obviously you want to make it relatable, but you also want to put your own twist on it, modernize it a little bit, and make it cool. Because I think we're in this era where, soccer and the transition of soccer it's exploding.
Totally.
The World Cup is happening in 2026. You see it from video games to athletic wear to streetwear.
Yeah.
It's all like soccer focused.
Yeah. Athleisure, I feel like is really popular.
Too,
yeah, totally.
All of it. So, no, I think for me, I can talk about the jerseys. I've seen them. The viewers haven't, but they're sick.
Thank you.
They're sick. You did an amazing job.
Thank you. And I wanted it to be something that the players also really wanted to wear too. Like I want things to, again, be timeless and iconic and cool. And like, I don't, I'm sure every player on the team has different tastes, but you try to balance, like, what could everybody like? Like, even could they wear this jersey with like a pair of black denim and boots and it still be cool? So it's kind of like taking the pieces and also being like, how do these exist on their own, but exist as a kit? And I think Andrew was really great at kind of helping me in this process in terms of like working with Lotto, because, it's things of even like thinking about the short color, how the socks look, things like that.
How it all flows.
And it was hard for me to not just design shorts as well, because I was like, so can we do this on shorts? Like, are we able to kind of print some things? So I think being able to know the capabilities too kind of helps direct you on what you're able to do. And obviously Lotto being such an iconic soccer brand, there were so many other kits from the past to really use as reference, in a sense, like really be like, what worked here? What do I like? What did I hear that the Edgewater Castle team liked? And how do I put this updated cool spin on it and make it fun and fresh?
Yeah, I mean, I think you did just that. So I'm really excited for just to get the overall feedback from not only players, from staff, and from fans. I think
really
it's gonna
teasing them here.
I know. Keep them on the edge of their seat. I mean, that's what it's about. But no, it's been great. I think, and it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm sure for you as an artist, right, you did a lot of work behind the scenes, but actually seeing them in action, I'm sure that's probably a special moment for you. I mean, we're talking about from music videos to brands to TV shows, as you said, and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure you probably just...
It is really fun when, like, you're somewhere and you see one of your designs, like it kind of just pops up and you're like, oh my God.
Often?
I would say it tends to happen at like concerts or events if it's like an artist I worked with. I went to Riot Fest this year, which is like alternative pop punk music festival that happens in Pilsen, I think. Don't quote me on the neighborhood.
I think it is, yeah.
But I went to that this year, and one of the bands that I actually started really doing a lot of design for was this band Cobra Starship when I was growing up. And so I got to see some previous design just even walking around. And so it was really cool because I would like turn to my friend and be like, I designed that, no big deal. Like just being very casual about it. But you
don't like sneak a pic or anything?
No, I mean,
in the wild.
It's for me, it's in my heart, in my mind forever. So I'm one of those people that I don't necessarily need a photo of the moment. There has been times where like I saw someone just walking down Clark Street, which is a popular street in Chicago, who was wearing a T-shirt that I designed for this music program called School of Rock. That was probably one of the first design projects I actually really ever did.
And they were just wearing it.
Yes, and I was like,
later.
I literally was walking past her, and I kind of like forgot that I even designed that. And I was like,
it looks familiar.
I was like, what a badass shirt. And I was like, wait, I designed that. And so I like kind of stopped her and I was like, I'm sorry, I actually haven't seen this shirt in like over a decade. This is so cool. And she's like, yeah, I was in this program a long time ago and I still have it. So those moments where they kind of like pop back up and remind you, like it can really be inspiring, especially if you're having like an off day. You're like, oh yeah, wait, I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah, but shifting gears a little bit, I think we touched on it a little bit before, but I'm just super curious. Like you mentioned that you had some ideas for me as far as, my brand or what you would do or help out with.
So in my research, I found out that you have both Japanese and Mexican heritage.
I have a Mexican last name, but technically not Mexican heritage.
Wow, so the internet's lying in these streets.
It's a crazy place.
Well, I would say, again, with like doing my research, it's just like I really like to put personal touches into pieces. So I would say, obviously also being African American, it's just like there are so many cool references that you could like tie in that are bold and impactful, but then still kind of even putting that like Japanese touch on it where Japanese design is so like bold and in your face as well, where I think that like those two worlds would pair really well together. And so I think just developing like an aesthetic that
complements the two. Yeah,
because I again, like in doing research and being personalized, being someone who likes to personalize work, it's just like that's what gives you your developed aesthetic. It's not just like a sick logo, which a sick logo does stand the test of time, but I think something that you would connect to more personally as well. I think that those are always things that I try to take into consideration. I tend to look up like, the artists that I'm working with references or their heritage or things like that to put those little aha moments that are special to them and make it more personal than just like a general logo or a general aesthetic. I think that it is really important to, especially in this world and being an entertainer, like to really stand out and make sure that like no one else has a logo or brand that is similar to yours. Really,
I think that's the hardest part. It's like trying to find something that's catered to yourself, but also that is unique and different and catches someone's eye. And because it's you subjectively, you want it to look cool and you know it looks cool, but then you also got to think that you also want to cater to the masses, right? You want people to look at it like, wow, it's amazing, right?
It's like, does this reflect me? But also, do people respond to it? And I think that there's like a balance to find a lot of times in design. And that's even just like with playing around with how the letters interact with each other, things like that. Or I love a good subtle icon mark that doesn't even have any letters in it. It's just like an abstract shape or a piece of imagery that still gives off the vibe. And so I think that, especially as a designer, it is really important to kind of know your client, but also like know what they need, even if they don't know they need it.
How does that process work with your clients? So when you're designing a logo or creative direction, is it like it's like an interview process? Is it you just do your research on your own and you present them something and they just say yes, no, maybe?
Before our initial meeting, I'll kind of do a little bit of research, but I really do let the client talk a lot the first meeting, because I like to refer to myself as a visual therapist, where it's like, you're telling me all these things and this is what I'm hearing. And so I think with that, it's kind of like, I tell clients all the time, like, the smallest thing you say to me could really impact where something goes. You could use one word that I would have never thought of, or that kind of tells me what you do or don't want. And so I'm astrology wise, I'm a Cancer, and so we're a very we're a very empathetic type of people, and so I think the empathy also helps me.
That's June. Cancer?
July. Well, June and July.
So you're at the beginning of July. So I'm a Leo.
Okay.
At 24.
Are you a July Leo? Oh my God, you're the second July Leo I've met this year. I only know August Leos. I'm July 12th, so I'm like right in the middle. Okay. I'm a feeler, and I think that just a lot. I mean, I don't know how much people believe in astrology, but it's something that I think
it's so relatable.
Can guide your personality.
I don't know. I mean, anytime I dive a little bit, I'm like, why does that make sense?
Right? Why do you know so much about me?
Right.
The moon.
Right.
But I think
lower your voice.
Hello. Just being who I am. I think that those things in working with the client, it's like really about listening, and again, like not having a huge ego of like, I know what they need. I mean, obviously, who doesn't have a little bit of an ego? But it's like, I will listen to what someone needs and then kind of take everything we've talked about, do my research, and also be like, what am I hearing from this? Like, what wasn't said that they're wanting, or things like that. And so I do try to present like what they want a couple times in if I'm sending over like a draft, I'll include like 3 to 4 drafts. And so it'll be like, what did they want? I'll do 2 or 3 of those. And then like, what do I think they want? And so it's kind of like,
how long is that process? Like weeks, months.
Well,
depends on the client, but.
And a lot of the time I'm working with people who are like, so I need this logo in a month. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's not really conducive to like a great timeline, but I can make it happen. And so, yeah, it can be anywhere from like a month to, I would say, like 3 to 4 months, because I as an artist, I'm very like, you can't rush genius. And
that's real.
So I really want to like feel,
that.
I want us both to feel good about this. I want this to be a piece that feels like me, but isn't overtly Dan, but still adds to my whole body of work. But I also still want something that like is timeless, relates to the client, something that they love, something that really is going to stand the test of time. So it's a lot of factors at once, and really trying to balance them in a way. And obviously not every client or project is going to work out. I think that that's also something to like be really realistic about. Is like,
I was gonna ask you, do you say no to projects quite often, or you were like, okay, this project might be a tall task or it's really out there, but I'm gonna figure it out?
I would say for the most part, I don't say no. It's once we're in the process and I'm like, oh, this ain't working. And that's okay because, you know, I'm not always going to be the right person for every job. And I think that that's another thing is like a artist creative to understand is like, you know, I'm sure there's games that you've lost. It's just like not everything is going to be a win. And I think that like even those situations that aren't wins are still teachable moments where you can learn something from it. And so as long as you're leaving that being like, okay, I at least got this knowledge out of this, where like next time if I'm working with somebody else, I can do it differently this way. And so, yeah, it's happened where things haven't worked out, but it's always like a mutual respect. I always love to see a project to the finish line. So I'm someone that will be like, we can figure this out, but also it might not work out. So
so you leave it kind of open-ended in a way.
Oh yeah, you put the ball back in their court.
They're like, well, I guess this is fine.
Yeah, no. I'm like, you know, maybe let me return part of the deposit and you got this.
Oh, goodness.
Because some clients also aren't. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Aren't worth the headache. You know what I mean? Like sometimes,
that's real.
yeah,
That's real.
sometimes it is
it's
exhausting, and I think as an artist too, you're putting so much of like your emotional energy into these things. So it is like, am I going to keep beating myself down for something that like at the end of the day where one of us or both of us isn't going to be happy with? And so again, that ego check of like, it's all good. Like there's thousands, if not more, graphic designers out there, and I think I'm a great person for a lot of jobs, but I'm not going to be the best person for every job. And so that's also okay.
No, that's real. That's real. Sometimes you got to be selective, but just having the ability, and you've had this overall body of work where you can say no to stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I am grateful for is like, I definitely do get to choose the projects I work on.
Which is cool.
Yeah, there's that freedom.
That's a testament to all of the work you put in prior. So that's great.
And I know that like a lot of graphic designers or branding artists aren't in that position. You know, a lot of people work at agencies or work for brands and things like that. Where
freelance, right? You never worked with an agency, or you did?
No, I've been completely independent my entire career.
It's amazing.
When I was working at Metro, I was kind of, you know, I was working within like bands guidelines and things like that, but it was still always like my own creative spin. I was, you know, developing different aesthetics for monthly and weekly parties, for residencies, for things like that. So I was able to still like,
you're just hustling.
I was, yeah. And I was like freelancing and also an artist manager at that point. So it was
able to do all of that. I mean, but
work-life balance.
Yeah, it's worked, and how to socialize and all everything. It all blends together.
Yeah,
right?
No, totally. Right. Especially if you're passionate about it. I think all of those things will come together, and I know work-life balance is important, but I think, again, when like graphic design is your passion, it's always in the back of your mind, kind of like, is that Helvetica? Like, what font is that?
Man, Helvetica. Times New Roman. I remember when I was writing papers. Times New Roman, everything's got to be double space.
Did you hear about the whole thing with the government and Times New Roman?
I did not.
So
this is probably a good time to fill me in.
I think it was today.
Was it today?
The Biden administration had moved to using a sans serif typeface, Calibri. And
Calibri, I use Calibri.
And now the current administration said Calibri is too woke. We're going back to Times New Roman. So the font change. It's crazy how a font can be too woke. So yeah, we're going back to the serif era.
Oh, serif, back to serif. No,
back to serif.
Sans and
no, please no.
No.
Or papyrus. Thank God Chipotle changed that logo. But
sorry, Chipotle.
Yeah. Sponsor us.
Yeah, but still sponsor. That's right. I mean, we can move on to like Kava or something. Kava.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Kava.
Rodi is here too. So
you know, I wish we had tender greens. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm familiar.
Oh God,
tender greens. Look, you don't like sweet green?
Every time the greens are brought up, people are like, "What are your thoughts on sweet greens?" I will say this on the record: sometimes those salads are always dry.
Oh, I mean, but the thing is, aren't you kind of choosing the salad?
You are, and that's part of the problem.
So you're choosing wrong, or is it a brand as a whole?
I'm not gonna drag sweet green too hard. I'm just gonna say I wish tender green would come to Chicago.
There you have it, Tinder Game. If you're listening now, come to Chicago. All right, before we close out, let's dive into some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna do some toss-ups, some easy ones for you. Since we're in Chicago, we gotta talk about pizzas.
Yeah, we do.
Tavern style or deep dish?
Okay. I would say they both have their time and place, but as a native, you got to go with tavern style.
Okay, I was hoping you said that. Deep dish is just, I can't.
Deep dish is like when your family is visiting for the holidays and you want to take them somewhere special.
Even
You're
that's
like,
a stretch. What Giordano's or something?
which is really just like a cheese pie. Like,
It's just slop.
I do love a Lou Balnati's moment.
Okay.
They had a Chicago style slice or pizza that had like hot dog and mustard and relish on it.
That was
It was decent. It was limited time.
I hope so.
But yeah, I guess you've only been here 2 years. That would be a little bit of a stretch. Have you been to Pequod's Pizza yet?
I have.
So that butter crust, like
That was good. I
Yes.
was impressed.
So I would say deep dish has its time and place if you're discerning, but I love a good tavern style. And then just to shout out another brand, have you been to Pizza Lobo at all?
I haven't.
Okay, I hate to say this, it's New York style pizza, but
It's not even Chicago style.
it
pizza.
slaps. It is.
Okay.
I'm there like
What part
4
of the
times a
city?
week. There's one in Andersonville and one in Logan Square.
Okay.
And it's oh my god, it's New York style pizza, and they kind of have like a New York aesthetic as well. Like it's very garage doors and a lot of concrete and cinder block. But I don't know, there's something about it.
Okay, so that's your top choice. You heard it.
I wouldn't say top choice.
No, I heard top choice.
I would
heard
like
it. No
a slice.
backtracking.
I would like a slice named after me in 2026. So slice of the day.
Let's put it out
I'm
there.
working
Slice
for
of
it.
the day.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, next up, best live music performance you've seen.
Oh God. Okay. Oh
And just know
God.
that they are listening to this.
Well, since you're listening, Lady Gaga, it was you. No, actually, back in the day, I wasn't even necessarily a fan. And my friend and I, one of my longtime friends, Kate, she and I went to go try to get tickets when it was like Lady Gaga at her peak. Bad Romance was like a single.
Bad Romance.
Jason Derulo was opening for her. And so we just didn't have tickets, but we were those kids that like were always in line for shows growing up. And we were just like, we got good luck. We ended up not being able to get tickets until like the show had already started, and there was this dad in front of us who kept buying all these tickets for his daughter and her friends, and we were just like, we just need 2 shitty tickets. That's all we need. We just want to see the show. And by chance they were like, we're closing this box office, go to the next one. So we separated. I stayed at the one we were at. My friend Kate went to the other one, and she calls me and she's like, you need to get here right away. I need my credit card. And so I was like, okay, I'm here. Gave her the credit card. We bought the tickets not even looking where they were. The usher saw our ticket, was like, you haven't been to your seats yet? And we were like, no. Every like section, we kept getting closer and closer, and she and I were both like, what the hell?
They were actually escorting you in and out.
Yes, we were literally front row touching the stage. Her dancers were like interacting with, I could see the fillings in her teeth. That's how close we were. And so, yes, the fillings in her teeth. I was like, oh my God.
Girl.
But it was just like nuts because it really won me over, as, you know, she was someone who's really big into fashion and creative direction and her visuals. So that show really did have such a big impact on me. I would also say a lot of the shows at Metro I got to see. Metro is a good venue for up and coming artists or bigger name artists who want to play an intimate show. So I've gotten to see like Chance the Rapper before he blew up at Metro. I got to see the Foo Fighters play a 3-hour show, Arctic Monkeys, Casey Musgraves. So it's like a lot of LCD Sound System. So I've seen a lot of really cool musicians play at intimate club.
Which I prefer. I would prefer an intimate club than
going
to like United States.
I hate a stadium show. I'm going to say
It
it.
doesn't even sound good. You're just out there. It's just like...
The worst part is leaving one of those shows because
tell me about
you
it.
want to go home and get some food, and you're like, it is going to be at least an hour and a half with all these people, and the Uber surge charge is going to be my dinner bill tonight. So,
That's right.
but yeah, I would say Lady Gaga at it was like the Rosemont Theater. It wasn't even like a big stadium, so it was a really cool moment.
Yeah, let's keep on the music train. So, what's a song that you have on repeat right now?
Okay, so
Don't need to be embarrassed. Just
no, I'm
own it.
not embarrassed. There's a couple. I would say this band Turnstile, their new album, what is the new album? Is it Take Care? No. Do you know the name of the album?
Are you really fans? I don't know.
Okay, not too much. But Turnstile's most recent album, this is a really good blend of like alternative, heavier guitar mixed with like really trippy, psychedelic at time influences. And so Turnstile is one that I've been really into. Just the whole album has been on repeat. There is the song Opposite Day by Megan Thee Stallion, which is just talking about like
You went from here to there.
Oh yeah, and then the other one is Nobody Like Me, I think is what it's called. It was in Kill Bill. And so I just saw the extended cut of Kill Bill, and it's in one of my favorite scenes where she's battling the Crazy 88. And so that has also been on repeat. Very eclectic taste in music.
Which is great. Yeah. I'm definitely appreciative of that, just being all from there to there to there.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. I'm like an onion. I have layers.
Talk about animals.
Okay.
What's a kind of pet you never had that you would want?
If I was being crazy, an elephant. Like, you know, I actually really loved animals growing up. If I wasn't a graphic designer, I would have tried to be a zookeeper, but I also, or a vet, but then I realized I'd have to put animals down, and I don't think I could do that. So,
that's tough.
If I was going for wild game, it would be an elephant. But I don't know where it would stay, but I actually had a lot of pets growing up. I had fish, I had turtles, I had hamsters, dogs, cats. I think I've touched on a lot of the genres of pets.
Any extravagant things like a monkey or something?
No, I did want a sugar glider for a little bit, but my mom was like, "You saw the hamsters get out all the time. We're not doing sugar gliders." So.
The place probably would smell too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, the rodent leaning animals have interesting smells. So, no, I actually have a Pomeranian right now, a chocolate Pomeranian.
What's her name?
Her name is Baby. My partner and I got really creative with that one. But we had never really had a dog of our own, either of us, growing up. So this was like the first time that we both had like our own pet together. And she is honestly like the best animal ever. I truly don't think I'll ever have another dog that isn't a Pomeranian because I'm like, it's the smartest small breed. And then they're just like so sweet and cuddly, but they also have a little bit of attitude. Like they give the sass back. So I'm like, I like a pet with a little personality.
Right on board with that. Love that.
I would love a gaggle. No, chihuahuas are a little too yappy for me. I want like to be that guy who has like my 8 Pomeranians walking down the street and
okay. There we go. There we go. We'll do a couple more before we close out.
Cool.
I gotta know. I need some tea. One mostly unknown bit of tea from behind the scenes of Drag Race.
Okay, and because we're talking about fashion, on my walk here, I was like, I actually think I have the perfect story. So my partner, Jaren, their drag persona their name is Shea Coulee. And so their aesthetic is very fashion forward. They're kind of like the Beyonce of drag, where they're a dancer, a performer, a DJ, a creative director. They make a lot of their own fashion. Cool. So they're a very well-rounded artist. And whenever you're announced on Drag Race, they do these like big premieres in New York where they kind of like announce the cast and they all perform and they do like red carpet. And so my partner was wearing this white neoprene dress that one of our friends had kind of made for them. And neoprene, for those of you who aren't familiar, is like really involved in like a scuba gear and things like that. It's a really porous fabric. It's light, but it has like really cool shapes to it. And so I was assisting them get ready backstage, and they were like, "Oh, I have this like body makeup that I need to put on, just like kind of like a body foundation to, you know, make everything a little more even." And so they literally said to me, "Watch out, this product is like, it really has a mind of its own. It will go all over the place if you're not careful." At the time, I was like, "It's okay. I got it. I literally take the like brush to start putting it on them and just like bloop right on the dress, and the neoprene also on the white neoprene dress. And the neoprene, literally, you just see the foundation like go like this. And so I was like, and this was like one of the few times I've seen my partner kind of lose their cool. They just like screamed. And then I was like, what can I do? And they were like, leave the room. And I was like, this is when it's over. This is how I get broken up with. Oh, no. I didn't even necessarily see where the foundation went. I was so lucky. It was on like a corner of the bottom, so they were able to fold it over and it not be seen.
Oh, wow.
True. I mean, what would you have done if you ruined your partner's red carpet moment? And so they actually still have the dress to this day. They've made it into some other pieces, and their assistant recently came up to me and was like, what is this? And I was like, why are you bringing that to me? And they're like, well, Shay told me to ask you what this is. And I was like, I actually am triggered right now, and I will not be talking about this. So now I'm telling it on camera. But yeah, that was, I would say that's some tea. That is some fashion.
Sorry you had to relive that, but yes.
It's okay. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Indeed. Yes. Indeed. And last question. How many people are you bringing to a Rooks game next season?
How many comps do I get? Look, I can fill a guest list. Don't threaten me with a fun time.
Okay.
We'll all be there. We'll all be there in our kits, cheering, screaming, being crazy.
Home opener. I hope so.
I'll be there.
So. I'll be there too. Hopefully.
I'll wear the Rick boots for you.
Amazing. And then last question: for an aspiring designer, what piece of advice would you leave them with?
It's one of my favorite things to tell up and coming designers: charge more. Because I think
raise the prices.
We tend to underestimate ourselves, and it's like I do have people reach out to me often being like, what would you charge for something like this? And it's like, well, you need to understand the usage, how long this is going to be in production. Is it going to be sold? Are they profiting off of it? There's a lot of things that will dictate a price, and I think that it's easier to root for other people than it is for yourself as an artist. So it's just like, the worst they can do is say no, and for the most part, you can't negotiate up. You can negotiate down. So I think if you start higher and work down, that's easier to do. So charge more.
You heard it here, folks. Charge more. Well, that concludes the end of our Stone by Stone podcast.
Love it.
I appreciate you taking the time, and it's been so great just hearing your journey.
Thank you.
Your design elements, and forevermore. So I think offline, I might hit you up about my brand. So
yeah, let's do it.
Hopefully we get together.
Please.
But anyways, tune in for the next one. See you guys.